is 114. Can't be much more than 105 in the shade.
Like that man, a half a day's wage. We're laying down on the job.
So welcome back to the channel. It's a beautiful Monday morning. It's gonna be a cool 95 degrees today. You're like 95 degrees isn't cool. Well, it's gonna be the coolest day we have this week because about 2 or 3 days this week's gonna be bumping 100 degrees, and that ain't the heat index. That ain't that good hot Tennessee humidity. But today, I guess, is what you would call the big day. We're gonna see what happens here and see if we can't get the old monster put back together. So what we got going on here is we're fixing to slide this concave in, but that right back there is called the beater grate. You see that thing with the fans on it? That rotates, and that's like that provides you a little more separation, and it throws that material up there on them straw walkers, and that's the grate that rubs against. And but the concave has to go on the back side of it, and then this rod falls down in your concave, and then this bolt tightens it up. So what I done, I just simply grabbed the ratchet strap, pulled that up tight where we got the clearance to get our concave behind that. And then this right here is your straw walkers, and we'll talk more about them in a later date. Again, I'm gonna do a whole video on how this combine threshes grain and separates it from all the way from the header till when it's coming out the chopper in the back. Right here is the concave, and we converted. The old concave was a 14 bar, and we put this 13 bar concave in it. The back part here's the same, you just got one less bar right here, and what that does, that gives you a little more separation area, more room for your grain to fall through. And then we run these concave inserts, and what that does, that just keeps the material in the concave a little longer and provides a little more threshing, and that's what they do. So about all I know to say about the concave. Just when you're checking yours, they'll wear more in the center, so make sure you got when you're checking yours, make sure they got a good square edge and that you don't have too much wear in the center. When you go to put it in, don't forget to put your bar back in there, because once you slide it in the machine, there's no turning back. And that's what your actuator attaches to, that adjusts your concave clearances. Let the fun begin.
Hit the back just a little. Yeah, a little bit more. Oh, hot. Whoop.
guys, one thing we're doing, we're putting the concave in before we put our shoe auger pan in. And what that's allowing us to do is we can set this concave on this pallet, and then we use this 4x6 there to kind of push the concave in. And that's going to allow us, by leaving that pan out, we can get that pallet in there deeper, and hopefully we're going to let this pallet sit there and hold it and do most of the work. Now me and Robert are going to have to do some manual labor. We're going to have to get this thing rocked up into position to put them back bolts in, but I'm thinking it's going to be a lot less trouble like this than if we had tried to done it with the shoe auger pan in. Look here, Mr. Paul, we're using what you gave us. A viewer of the channel gave me this porter power, and I really appreciate it. So we've got it into a position that we can put our cams in, and what we're hoping is that we can put our cams in, which slides over that hex shaft right there on the end, and then at that point we will be able to rotate the back of this concave up and start our bolts in the back. That's our hopes. Now whether it works or not, I don't know. The next step, we ran this come along up over the shaft and hooked onto the concave, and we're just going to try to roll the concave up there where we can start our back. This has been a booger bear trying to get this baiter grate hooked into this concave. If I'd have put more of a zigzag in that baiter grate, we could have pulled it right up in there and never missed a beat. But you gotta let it down lower than you see there, that where it sticks out at the top. That's where your bolt comes through. So it's got to be higher than these hooks, but yet lower than them big giant nuts. So you know how fun that was getting that wiggled in there. It's always hard getting something wiggled in between some big giant nuts. Alright, here we go. And of course we ended up with my substandard come along. Now one of us is gonna have to get in the back in a minute and line the boat holes up. Well, welcome back, guys. It is a hot one in West Tennessee. 92 degrees, got that old humidity going. 108 degrees. So welcome back. Gonna go on and apologize for the fan noise in the video, but it's super hot and we've got to keep a lot of air moving to stay cool. We're putting on this front wear plate. I don't know how much I can't remember what I've said or what I hadn't said, but we got our concave in here. We've done some leveling on it. We're gonna have to do some more leveling. We got to stop right here, we got to adjust. But first we're gonna put this wear plate on, and then after we get this wear plate on, we're gonna slide this shoe auger pan up in here before we get too much stuff on. So what I've done here is we've got these are the bolts that hold them on. They're carriage head bolts. And I've slipped the O-ring over the bolt to kind of hold them in place. I ain't gonna say you can't push them out, but it makes them harder to push out. Kind of holds them in place. Kind of a trick I learned a long time ago that kind of helps things. But I don't have my clamp on my camera, but I'm gonna turn y'all off, and then I'll bring y'all back when I get it slipped on. I have a love-hate relationship with kerosene bolts. When they work, they're great. When they don't, they're a pain in the butt. This kind of serves as the transition piece as that material comes off the fader house and slides down into the concave here. And this is the tightest clearance that this concave will be. So, but this is a very high wear item, and that's why they designed this piece like this on this concave, is because you might wear out 2 to 3 of these in the time you wear out your concave, because this is where every bit of material comes through. So go through and put the auger on it one more time, and we will move on to something else. You gotta love a Phillips head. I'm being sarcastic. If we buy screws, they're all what do you call them things? Torx heads, or I call them a star head.
I was thinking it's star head.
We got us some 1-buys for something now. Well, y'all ain't lived life until y'all laid in here on some straw walkers. Oh, that's so much fun. So, what we're doing now, we're putting in the bolts for the back beater grate. We tried our best to leave them in there and put that concave in, but it just wasn't working. So, I'm sticking them in there. It's hotter than blue blazes in here. But, it's tough. It's tough. Trying to put a 30-inch man and a 15-inch straw walker, and it just don't hardly fit. I can fit sideways. Only been on this project an hour. Already need a shower. Ripped my dang favorite shirt. Had this shirt forever. It's nice and thin. Breathes good. I gotta get over here and get cleaned up a little. That breeze feels pretty good. Bad if you stay in front of these fans, but the minute you get out from in front of the fan, it's just instant sweat. The hardest part was keeping this back end of the shoe augers
held up was the hardest part. What we did, we took a ratchet strap and hung right here on the back of the shoe auger pan, and then we caught up there on that feeder grate and used them ratchet straps to pick up the back of the shoe auger pan. Not the worst job I've ever done, but not the easiest. Now hopefully this next project, putting the shoe augers in, is not going to be near as strenuous. Maybe it's going to be a little more relaxing than these other jobs has been. You remember which one's left and which one's right?
This is the left hand.
So we're in here installing the shoe augers. The ends of these shoe augers run in wooden blocks, and the end of the shaft just slides right on up in there, and it just runs inside that wood block that's kind of been soaked in oil there. So when Robert kind of gets situated there, I'm gonna slip that auger in, then we'll show you what we gotta do down on the bottom end. And new augers, I like to take that sanding disc and shine the end of these shafts up a little better. It makes them burns slip on so much easier. That's why we got all of this new. We got this shaft new, we got all new gears. I gotta get this bracket off, folks. Fun stuff, fun stuff.